Okay, so everybody's been asking for a video. I didn't really have anything that I thought I could share that would be anything different than what everybody's doing. Everybody's showing the same attack rates or styles over and over, but I thought I'd make this video. It's a lot of me doing hybrid in the clouds and making some pretty critical mistakes, but we could talk about that as they come. So I decided to queen charge into the CC here, just to make the CC pull nice and easy. This guy had a dragon and a witch, or a dragon, two witches, something like that. Anyways, we're making short work of that with the poison. Queen's coming down. Basically, I don't care which way she goes. I like to put the queen in positions like that where I don't necessarily have to make a funnel. We can just put her somewhere and she can decide which way she wants to go, and then I'll break in and work with whatever the queen gives me. So here she's going to come in into the single target Inferno, so I rage her up. I'm going to have to freeze that Inferno. I wall break again. Didn't really need to, I just was curious if I could get it in there, and super wall breaker, of course it does make it. So anyway, so here she goes, gets the single down. She doesn't go for the king, which was kind of what I wanted, but she goes to the other side, the 9 o'clock side where the queen is at. Now, what's going to happen here, I start cutting a funnel with that wizard to help the queen stay inside, but what happens is I'm late with that rage, so I use the queen ability here. So now I know that when my queen gets down to here, I'm either going to have to burn the freeze or lose the queen. So let's see what happens. I'm going to cut the funnel up here with the siege barracks and the king, and that's going to help take down the enemy king and the royal champion. So here I decide that what I would like to do is send the hogs into here to tank this Inferno tower and save the queen. So I'm just waiting for it to develop just a little bit. Here we go. I needed that. There was a bomb tower here, right on that. I needed that to go down before I could put the hogs, because I didn't want the hogs to backtrack for that bomb tower. Now the problem here is the queen got targeted by the single, so I had to freeze it anyway, which was what I was trying to avoid, but it ends up working out. I decide to, these are siege barrack hogs coming out of here. I decide that to keep the warden for the miners for the core, because there's a moat all the way around the core, and if there were 3 ground target skeleton traps, I was worried that my 15 miners wouldn't be able to get through that. So also, I lose the champ here. I could have just put the hogs in. I didn't need to put the champ with them, and they would have made just as strong a push and saved the queen, which was the whole goal of the hogs. So putting the royal champ there basically just got her killed. Miners to the town hall here with a heal, because it's such a long way from the edge of the map to the center. The miners get there so much faster than the warden that I need to heal to make sure those miners don't go down. Now, of course, it ends up there is no skeleton traps in the core, which is fine. It meant I probably could have just used a royal champion there, but it's not worth the risk. So here we go. Lost all the healers to the town hall inferno beams, but we have the warden ability here for the miners. Didn't lose a single one, and that means that this raid is going to be a triple. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at another Legends League hybrid. Okay, so it's early in the Legend League season, it's day 1, so the bases are kind of hit and miss. This one's a little underweight, but let's see what we're going to do here. I'm pretty sure I charged the top, which is always risky because you're leaving the CC for the back end. And if my queen doesn't go the right path, pulling the CC is going to be almost impossible, and I'm going to have to hybrid through the CC. So let's see what happens here. Queen coming in from the top, making her charge. Going to attempt a wall break here. Have to rage through the warden tower, of course. There's the first wall break. Queen is going to come around the top side, which is fine. bring in another wall break a little too early, so it targeted all the point defenses there, targeted it, so it didn't make it where I wanted it to go. But because we broke this here anyway, it then targets back here in front of the sweeper, so not ideal, not what we wanted, and it's going to force the queen to end up coming down this direction because we didn't get a break right here. She may have come back for this if we got this broken, but that's not an option at this point. So I decide, okay, we'll cut the funnel on this side with the siege barracks, and the king will force the hybrid into this area here and force the queen to come back this direction. So here we go. Hogs, miners, royal champion, warden behind. Everybody slowly working their way through. Now here, I freeze up the scatter shot because if it gets even one shot off, it pretty much ruins the hogs. And right there, I had to poison the CC. Now, this guy had Yetis, a Valk, and Archer. If he had 3 ice golems, this raid would have probably been toast because this scatter shot would have killed everything. So we warden here because everything's kind of getting beat up by that CC and the scatter shot and everything else. We put a rage down to help everybody get through that town hall because it is a hot mess in the core of this base. And for a second there, I wasn't sure that we were going to get the town hall. Everything needed to go down in that core relatively quickly. Otherwise, it was going to fizzle out really fast. So we lose the champ here to that single target. We do have miners coming around the bottom side with the king. We have the queen with the healers and her ability coming around the top. This single target Inferno staying up is a problem because the queen can't reach that far into the base. So we're just kind of waiting for a good time to use her ability, which is now, and then hoping that the miners will come around the backside and pick up that Inferno tower, which of course they do. They were cleaning up down here. Now they're coming around to the Inferno, and that is going to be another triple. Really risky raid coming opposite the CC with no real plan to pull it. Was really bad identification on my part. Let's take a look at another raid. Okay, so here we have another base. This one, believe it or not, is... I think it might be more upgraded than the last one because the last one had... Did it have max wizard towers? I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to charge the top here because there's 2 scatter shots here. And whenever I'm doing hybrid, I'm always aware of the scatter shots. And with my queen charge, I want to be able to usually pull the CC, unlike the last raid. Ignore that. Try to get a scatter shot and at least one of the heroes down, as well as create pathing. So let's see what we do here. This guy had an E-Drag, Baby Drag Loon CC. I haven't seen one of those in a long time. But I decided to bring the warden here with the queen on the charge. Now, why would you do that? Well, anytime I'm coming into 2 scatter shots, I feel perfectly comfortable bringing the warden, especially if I'm going to get the town hall down as well, because that's the only thing I use the warden for is either the town hall or a scatter shot to avoid those with the hogs or protect those hogs and miners from that. Because we're taking down both scatters and the town hall, bringing the warden with the queen just made perfect sense. Also, we're charging into 2 single target infernos, so gonna need that to make sure we get the town hall down. So here we go. I'm gonna cut the funnel here and start my hogs and miners to push in for this inferno tower. I was hoping to get there early enough to save the queen, but I started too late, and the queen goes down. The warden stays up, but the queen goes down. So here we go. Everybody's working their way in. Sip of coffee. Heal up early on that entry there. Gonna do another heal where I'm suspecting there's bombs around that eagle. And then there was only one, and that was fine. Siege Barracks Hogs coming down the bottom side with the pack of wizards to back him up. Royal Champ stuck on some skellies, but all in all, it's going to be okay because there's not a lot of firepower down here on this back end. There is a lot of point defenses, but there's also a lot of hogs and miners kind of sprinkled in around down there, tanking for everything while the Royal Champ kind of comes through and helps clean up. We did get a healer switch onto the Royal Champ, at least a partial healer switch, so that's always good too. The goblins are helping clean up all of those trash buildings. Look at this pack of wizards down here. It's ridiculous. Um, Hogs and Royal Champion finish off that final wizard tower, and we're down to clean up. So, um, again, this went pretty good, even though we had to use the warden with the queen and lost her relatively early. All right, let's take a look at another raid. Okay, so this is a little bit of an old style base I haven't seen in quite a while, and I immediately put the queen in the wrong place. I'll show you in just a second. Okay, so I end up dropping the queen here, and what I want the queen to do is come this direction, because she can reach the infernos from outside the walls, and we can just bring the warden with us like we did last time and power our way all the way through all of this and make short work of the back end with the hogs and miners. However, putting the queen here without establishing this funnel first, the queen's going to come up and around the backside. Troll Teslas had to drop a loon, but I'm going to go ahead and break into here and have the queen charge this entire backside, which was fine. One of the critical mistakes I make is when I pull the CC here, okay, I pulled it too late, and what's going to happen is this baby drag right here is going to target my healers. And so that's mistake one. Mistake number two is I panic and I put the Royal Champion down. Now, I froze the baby drag to save the healers initially. The Royal Champion goes for the hound, so I had to freeze the baby drag again. The new poison actually kills the baby drag. I didn't know that. So now I know that, but now I have a problem. I have both my Royal Champion and my Queen at the top up here, and I'm thinking, oh, great. Well, hopefully the two of them together can take out the entire top side and at least give me less work to have to do at the bottom with the hogs and miners, knowing that all the traps are going to be down there. So we got the Queen raged up with some healers. We do get a partial healer switch to the Royal Champion. Now we have a complete healer switch to the Royal Champion. But as this is progressing, I'm kind of not hating the way this is looking. Like, actually, this is pretty nice. So we put the king down to clear some of this trash before we come down here with the siege barracks to really clean up this funnel. I want to bring the hogs and miners back through this, basically through the storage here into the inferno and the town hall. So now we got the funnel established. We bring in the miners, and now we bring in the hogs. And I'm going to try to time this warden just right to save those healers. We're going to heal. Then we're going to rage. Where's the rage? There it is. And then we're going to tome. Try to get through all of that really dense core area as fast as we can. We're going to heal our way out of there and work our way through the backside. We know all the bombs and traps are down here at the bottom, so we expect not a lot to live through that. But the troops that come through the core, they should be able to clean up the back end fairly easy. So there you go. Tons of miners left. We have a healer switch to the miners, so we know that this is absolutely crushed. Been a while since I hit a base like this, but I'll try to keep in mind that the queen going to the top side is not the worst idea. And the Royal Champion with her too. It was a mistake, but it was a mistake that we were able to adapt and make work for us. But okay, let's look at one last raid. So here we have this base. We did run out of the super wall breaker perk, so now we have regular wall breakers and we have goblins, sneaky cobs. What I want to do is, because this is reachable, I wanted to go ahead and abuse that by queen charging it. The other thing is I want to break into this compartment even though I don't necessarily have to. I want to get both this Inferno and I want to get the Eagle. And ideally, I'd like to get a little deeper, whether it's into this compartment or into this compartment, to create a funnel to push the hogs and miners through the town hall. I put the king down a little bit early and let him establish that side of the funnel because it was a little tricky the way those buildings were placed. I didn't want to risk the queen going out there and having this Inferno cook the healers. So here we go. Got the queen in. Got the Coco Loon in. No Sam there, which was surprising, but worth the balloon anyway. Gonna wait to rage up the queen till she gets a little deeper into this compartment. I don't want to waste that rage on the outside. Okay, here we go. Got the CC pulled out. Gonna poison that. Gonna go for that wall break. There it goes. Now that we know we have that, as soon as we do, we start the funnel up here at the top to push the hogs and miners into the town hall. Gonna rage up the queen again because we're gonna approach the enemy queen. Here we go. Oh, there was that Black Sam. That sucks. Baby drag over here to help with that funnel. Hogs and miners coming right into the town hall. The hogs did come out of the siege barracks. They're helping also establish the funnel here to feed into the town hall. Gonna use the queen ability here. The sweeper was making it hard for the healers to keep that queen going. So we're actually going to lose that queen to the expos here. But that gives us the healer switch to the hogs and miners, which is always a plus. That's one of the benefits of doing the hybrid through the queen or next to the queen instead of opposite the queen. You can get that healer switch onto the hogs and miners, and you don't have the one of the negatives to the queen charge or the healers and heroes is the healers do less healing bonus to heroes than they do regular troops. So if you end up with healers on your hogs and miners, they actually do a lot more healing to them than they do to, say, your queen or your king or royal champion or warden or whatever. But anyways, so here we go. We got a few hogs working through the middle. We got the royal champion working through the middle. We have miners cleaning up the outside, and they're going to push their way around, and we're going to go ahead and pick up the final triple here of today. And that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm trying to find interesting things to say for the game in the videos that we make. Not just the same old things over and over. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And I will see you guys in the next one.